Okay, I'm trying to build this breakout system, and I was buying the euro dollars that dropped, and I eventually wiped the account out. It took me about 2 days or something. So the whole time this was dropping, I built the buy side of it, and then I built the sell side of it. But I broke out some of my old stuff here. I just kind of threw this together last night. All it is layered Hakanashi. So the deal is here. This is a 1 minute chart, and this was supposed to be a stop breakout only system, but I put in a couple buy limits here combined on the same ticket. So this is the current state of this. I stripped out a bunch of stuff out of these MT4 folders. A lot of people aren't going to want to deal with, but trying to get the 1 minute chart is like, you really babysit that. So you're looking to pull the trigger here, but this is low risk trading. You're looking to pull the trigger when you see a signal. In other words, when it's blue. And what is the signal? This is a 5 pip grid, and you're seeing a small color dash, and you put sell stops in, but I add sell limits to the thing so that when it kicks up it can pick up a little more. So have to split the ticket between I just added that this morning. It's I'm going to buy every 3 pips down. So when you get to key number 10, you'll be at 30 pips down. So it's going to put a limit here at 30 pips on the very last. So if you're buying 1 pip above, and it'll also be throwing in a 1 hour, but right now it's set to 1 hour. So these keys are set to 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes I'm going to be buying this at this level. Now, person that doesn't know anything about trading the steering wheel, you tell them, listen, when you see this color, you're just putting in sell stops, and there's a sell limit trolling above that lasts, say, 15 minutes. And you have buy stops here. Now they would have trapped you here, but if you have 2 minutes to place, and I know this sounds really like, but of course this is smoothed out. You could make this so that this color lasts longer, but it's about the fact that you're trapped in a 5 pip range that makes this a 2 pip crush into this. So if you see a blue wedge, you're definitely loading up the buy stops, and the buy limits never get filled. They're just there in case there's a kickback. So the actual prices here are the black bars, and actually there's a gap here. So the black bars are crushing so far behind the order in which you put these bars on the screen. But this template here is the current template. I guess I should name the templates in there, but when you open up the indicators list, you can tell the layering, because whatever's listed first in the indicator list is going to be what lands first. So if I took the black bar here and I put it on top of price, you wouldn't see it poke its head above the cloud, right? So my cloud is like tight. If you're a cloud trader, this is tight cloud trading with 5 pip grid. So I traded that breakout there. Now I got out of these targets were set to only make 5, 10, 50 pips, so they'll scalp out totally flat. Now there's nothing I can do. I'm waiting for it to turn blue. Now if it turns blue, it comes down, I'm going to put in the buy stops. Right now I'd be putting sell stops. So let me put in now this is the part I never wrote when it was dropping. So this is the sell stop. I guess I didn't I must have wiped out the hotkey for that. That's supposed to be right now, if you don't have a hotkey keyboard, all the hotkeys here are set to if it says A1, you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and hit 1. So the way I set it up was, these are all sell stops. You don't have to open the script to see what it says, but that's just, you can adjust everything to what you want to set your grid at. So if you're going to run with 10 pip stops or 12 pip stops, 20 pip stops, you put up a 20 pip grid, and maybe you only want to pull the trigger once every 15 minutes. But personally, I don't want to risk any more than I have to, and I want to make ratios that are like incredible. So I'm going to go 1 minute chart, and look at the 1 minute chart. I'm like, okay, waiting for this thing to smash down. We got to wait like 15 minutes. As soon as we get the color change, just put a mechanical trade in, right? Nobody wants to think that these floor pivots and all this Fibonacci shit works. Like, let's not even go there. So if you're a momentum trader, this is momentum trading from, this is also trend trading. I mean, it's uptrend now, but would you buy here? Fuck no. I'm selling a stop, so they just filled me. Now that stop could have been trailing a little bit below. It's very aggressive, so I'm add on the so what I'm doing here is, this was, I didn't have this before. Now this is probably going to stop me out. See where my stop's at? If I had a sell limit above that stop, and so you're going to compromise, you're going to be saying, well, I'll put in a sell stops now, so we're going up. Well, what's the trade? You can't, right? You have to, so I can put a buy stop in. Here's the buy stop I added the limit to, and then the next key is the buy stop again at the exact same price with the limit that is now so you can pick this number, and you're waiting for times to justify putting a buy stop in, which has got to be the worst fucking trade in the world. But on a 1 minute chart, it looks beautiful. The only problem here is the spread. The spread is like 1.5 pips, 2 pips. If the spread is 2 pips and you get a color shift and you hit the button, now granted, there are people on the 4-hour chart that have been short this thing forever, but there are bounces in here. This is the 4-hour chart. This is the 1 minute chart. This is still 5 pip handles here. We've gone through the floor here. This is a 30 pip trade if you bought below the round, 10 pips below the round. The only trade here is buy stops. So the thing is, buy stop, again, with a buy limit below. Now that's the half hour. So I just put in, this one is a 15-minute stop, and this is a 15-minute and a 30-minute stop here, and this is the 30-minute limits. Now the 1 hour limits are going to come in here, and then it's going to be 1 hour all the way down. And you can make it so this is 8 hours, so 8 hour stop. But I don't know if you want an 8 hour stop here. And then where's the stop for this stop entry? Well, that's a whole nother problem. So if you say I'm going to put a stop of 10 pips on every stop, those are all 10 pips, and the limits are 10 pips. So as the market comes bleeding back, but now the trick is to, now if I had sell stops and I had traded just on sell stops alone, I just put the limit in there so that it's a psychological thing. If you're going to trade on stops and think to yourself, oh my god, if they trap me on this, I'm going to fucking kill myself. So you have this other thing that says, well, what if they fucking come after my stop? I'm going to put in a limit below. And if I know that this key, the 10th key that I hit, is going to put a limit here, and I'm going to get in here, then how far away, 30 pips is, this is 10, 20, 30 pips. This is 1 minute chart though. Don't forget 1 minute chart. I mean, this thing could just completely crash down now. And if you, every minute, there is a trade on this chart. I mean, if you wait a minute. And then, so when the color changes, and my cells are getting filled now. So maybe I put in another cell. Now maybe I put a buy in a cell. So I'm gonna put on my doji thing there. I could put a cell limit. Now if I kept this symmetrical, which is, it's totally symmetrical right now except for the limits I'm going to add on there. But you have to babysit this thing. Okay, just turn blue. And now I could put the 5 minute chart in the rearview mirror. There's no point for me to look at this and say, oh, I should really, well, it's in a downtrend. Okay, listen, I'm scalping it. 5-minute chart back here looks like, oh boy, you know, it's okay. So you got this telling you there's no trade even for your 5-minute scripts, but look at this. And now we can get this set up here on the 1-minute chart. Is this pullback here? If I zoom out one more level, get these things to maximum space. So these two pullbacks here at the 5-minute, there's only one. You can only see one instance of that here. So you're not really seeing the here the colors shift. The bars are and you can make the width of the candles different too. So it's bottomless pit of okay, so my buy stops, I'm gonna go with the buy stops here. We got a little touch of blue here on the 1-minute chart, and since so it's really about how much momentum. Now this down smash here, if you had sold here and you had a few minutes to get, you had like 3 minutes to get on the train, wonderful, which was when it spilled out of here. Now if you have a 5-minute, so you're looking here for you're 5x away here. You're every, you know, you need 5 of these to make one of these guys. But this is, you know, this is good money. Now it would you know, the fact that if you looked at the 4-hour chart, you know, you have to realize, look at the 15. I mean, this is some choppy water, man. This is, I know it looks just, the whole problem with the moving average is when you go to a 5-period moving average, you are looking at like, oh, look at that trade. If you just would have traded with the trend, come on, man, let's be realistic. Like, I just saw a guy say, well, you know, there you go. There's you know, watching this with the 100 with the moving averages. Are you kidding me? Like, look at this. You know, this is down, right? You could see the 4-hour chart. Like, look at this thing come all the way up to here and trounce people. Now, if you were there, either you had a limit that you placed there by hand at the 5-yard line, or you babysat this thing and just kept pressing that sell key that was throwing sell limits out in front, and you're like, woohoo, you know. I mean, because that's the fun of trading, right? You're there for it. Look at this. They're coming right up against here. So I got out of all my things that we'd think about selling up here. Now, if I set the sell key so I can sell on a stop and I split the half the ticket to sell on a limit, then I think you satisfy this. No market orders though. So they're both confirmation entries in a way. Well, supposedly the stop enter is confirmation, but so is getting filled on anything. It's confirmation that you're right about getting in at that price. Unless you just randomly put them out there, and then there's always a problem there because people are like, oh, if I'm not using my brain, then I just shouldn't be trading, I'm gambling. Well, how are you using your brain on this shit? Look at this. This is, I know this is 5, it looks, this is still 20 pips of punishment, 30 pips of punishment. So all the winning trades off the edge here, this is a 5-pip window of stop hunt, of just, look at this. This is a 5-pip window. Are you kidding me? Right? This is, you're only risking 15, 10 pips here to make 30 pips. Okay, we're waiting for a pullback. So the 1-minute chart. I mean, these things here. So the sells are getting filled. I'm going to go for a buy and a sell. So you have to make it symmetrical, and so the sells would have a sell limit in there. In the 1-minute chart, with the 5-minute chart, you can see right here you have completely conflicted signals. This one says don't do anything. This one says buy a little bit or sell a little bit. Remember, these markets are so your spread is super tight on this thing. You know, you just wait. You'll see it here. So you buy stop, starting blue buy stop, and there's your reason to pull the trigger. I mean, you just need a reason to pull the trigger, really. Now you could have pending buy stops here that last an hour, but as soon as you change how long these orders last, you change everything. And I don't know, these orders, I think are left over from, I was attempting to run everything, the way this is set up right now, it's basically a trend. Like these are the sells. A means sell and C means buy, only because C is control 1 on your keyboard. So you don't need a hotkey keyboard to run this. You just have to hold down the control key and hit the and I have close all opens in here and close all pending. You still have to go with the color entry, so that if you hand this to somebody, you can tell them, listen, you can pull the button for the, you can pull the buy button here, and you can pull the sell button here. Now you probably wouldn't have got filled on your sell stops as this is screaming up, and maybe you got filled on a sell limit and you got pulled back. Also, when this goes from a 5 pip range, maybe you can't touch this until you get to here. This thing quiets down at 5 pip range depending on the color. So the next blue you get during a 5 pip range, you get back in. But you can see here just a buy stop below that vapor trail of Akinashi, right at the 5-yard line. Boom. Clean exit, really no stop out, and it was just a inverted hammer doji, whatever the fuck. Morning star. I wanted to see a gravestone, but you can't see like gravestones in Forex, so I want to see that gravestone. So another buy stop. I'm definitely overtrading this, and I had to overtrade the other account to blow it up to really dial this in. Now this is the 15-minute and the 30, and this is the kickback in case. Now if you set the master stop to the same on each key, then you'd see the little red dashes show up there. Okay, there's nothing you can do. And this is a 1-minute chart, so you're really getting the lowest risk entry. You might get kicked out though. Now, if you're running 5 and 10 pip stops and that's your limit, you want to get stopped out and have this thing go smashing down into the limits that were still lingering out there. And if you hit every key on this keyboard straight across, or hit control, you hold down the control key and hit 1. I think you might have to let go of the control key between each script. Let me try it. So there's no, you can just hold down the control key. So this is another thing you could do, is get a foot switch and have control on one and alt on the other. You hold down the control key and you can just place so if you're there's people that are disabled, people that are whatever, they have no hands or something, but they have feet, or just whatever just to make it psychologically different, you've got, that if you're holding down this, another thing is that if you don't want to accidentally trade, you could make it so that you just disable the, because if you have to hold down that, you have to go to the foot switch just to trade, so nobody can come up to your keyboard and accidentally put an order in. Hey, what's this keyboard you got? What's all these buttons here? And start pressing buttons and start putting on trades. So we're consolidating here right now in this 5-10 pip range here. So there's nothing I can do. I have to either wait till they fill me. So I'm gonna add to 30 pips here. Now if it's 30 pips in 4 hours, I just wouldn't want my, another problem is that's others' problems is how long does, if this order here lasts for an hour on the buy stop side, then you might think 30 pips would be a great place to get in 4 hours from now, but you would really have to come back to the chart. So you have to check in on this thing, and the way to really, you know, I guess make money is to be there for it. So if you own a coffee shop, now these aren't huge trades unless you're trading really big. Now this is just set to 1K, but if you owned a coffee shop and 24-hour coffee shop and you were the owner and you took a nap in the back and then somebody came in, they want a cup of coffee, here you go, right, here's your cup of coffee. And that's what you do, you know, it's work. And but it's mechanical. So here's my sell. I'm going to sell that. So I'm put my sell stops in now. This right now I've only added these two to the limits, but you can take it off there. So what you do is the best way to set this up, I think, is to have your, so I deleted all this garbage off of here, like all the you know, copyright, all that garbage. And this way, to rewrite the whole all 10 keys quickly, you know, you have to kind of have your mind's eye going here. But this is the 15-minute first key, buy stop 1 pip above. Now this could be set to whatever. The concept is that you're buying, and you can change this to from trend. You can make this a trend script. You can make this, well, I'm going to buy a stop 5 pips above, and in case they kick it back, I'm going to buy 10 pips below, and I'm going to put in a 15 pip stop here, and I'm just going to go, okay, well, I'm looking to make 40 fucking pips. But you have to be realistic on some of this. And if you know, ideally each key here, like this would be your scalp key, this is your kind of scalp key, 30 minutes. I put this to 30, and everything else is 1 hour. So you don't have to, you know, 2 hours is a lot to think about, especially if you're doing a combination. If you combine your limit with your stop to save, you know, just to save effort of going to having a whole new keyboard just for limits only, or saying, well, I'm going to hand place limits. You can still hand place limits on top of these orders that you're like, okay, well, I can see this is like, right? This is really for mechanical trading entry, because hell, you're just waiting for a color shift and you're like, okay, hit a button, okay, hit a button, and you built a, and say it's RSI is below something, you just put a buy stop in. This way you get picked up when RSI comes back. Maybe they're trapping you. Well, fuck, you never know if they're trapping you. I mean, come on, who hasn't been on a, like, still watching Lifetime movies of the trapping these poor guys, finding these guys with money, and they're like, hey, listen, I put a little stuff in your coffee there, and you notice you're a little sleepy. But yeah, this is so I'm trying to get something here that, you know, you can still have to adjust this thing though. It's just taking the it just makes it easy to see what you should be doing. So we're in a 5 pip range, and I've got a doji script running essentially because I put a hedge on. So there are no limits down here right now. If I put in, now if I know when I go to the keyboard that key number 3 is going to put a 10 pip limit in with a stop, and here is the, when it's slamming down, I mean, you have to little bit of feel for it, but if you see blue and this other screen, the 5 minute is green or whatever that is, hit the button, right? Every minute this goes down, hit the button. Just not going to find an EA to do this. I just know how this is. It's just never going to be. It's just never going to be like that. So, and I'm getting stopped out of maybe my. So I can see which. There's my sell here, about to get stopped out. So that was the sell stop, and the sell limits were never written. Now you're gonna, if this goes up 100 pips right now, you're gonna be pissed because you're like, well, I put in two. I guess you have to fine tune it to see whether or not it's going to be a scalping system, or you want to be scalped out of this thing, or do you want to trend trade it? Oh, I saw this 15-minute chart. So on the 5-minute chart, there was no blue. Your 5-minute chart says only go long, only go for the long side. There's the 1 minute. There's your 5 pip entry. Let me see here. Got this FX Blue thing on here. I don't know if it picked up this new account. So I opened this new account yesterday, and after getting stopped, trading it from the long side, continually getting stopped out, no market orders, and I wasn't trading limits because I'm so used to trading limits. Every time I hit the key, I thought, oh no, that's just nothing but you're just getting trapped every so the scalps weren't big enough, and then you really have to be here for this. But this time of day, like, okay, so here comes the top of the hour. What a surprise, we're banging up against this. And a lot of this stuff, when they took it below this round number last night, this isn't it here, but this is not the round number, it's just a support. But right here, they just keep bobbing and weaving. Here I would enter on the 1 minute chart, honestly. If you're day trading, I would use this as my trend, like, hey, downtrend, looking for greens inside the 1 minute on there, just to pull the trigger. And this may not be enough pips for people, but it just depends how big you're trading. But yeah, this template here, I guess I should save it and name it. So if somebody opens this up, I'd just call it. Problem is, I got so many templates in here that template. Of course, you need all the indicators that create this template, so you need the whole platform really to do it. If I save this as, I just call it. I have to call it 111 scalp because I got so many in here that I don't even know if this is going to show up at the top of the list. And of course, the naming sequence in here is completely different than what it'll come up when it comes up. But to see where it is on the list, we're going to put indicator list. So I've got 3 Hakanashis here. Put the grid on top. Got that. You just need a color. You just need a reason to. And if you just trade regular Hakanashi, same thing. Just go 1 minute chart, trade Hakanashi and stops. It's directional entry. It's a reason to go in the last known move. So you're getting in flag breakouts and all that nonsense. But you just have a mechanical entry system. You don't have the. So I don't. Here it is. See, it's all the way down here, and to get it to the top here, I don't know. But if I close this platform right now, or if I could save this in here, and it probably would save the template underneath this if I go to save as save profile and call this scalp. If you load the scalp profile. Alright, so that's now we're just waiting to cash out of this, and if I can't wait, I'll hit the trigger and get out. But we're probably banging up on something here on the next time frame up. Okay, we're chasing down that where everybody sold earlier at resistance, and we're going to the half hour, and we're chasing down this thing. So I'm going to get out everything right now. And just wait to get in on. So the thing is, that's kind of like, I don't know, it's over for a scalp for me. So it could keep going up, and I normally put in buy limits at this point. but I still got my buy limits trailing here. Okay, so scalped out of that, and it's pretty out of control. We're back into the sell zone. Still blue here. Probably are still going to go up, but you know, the if your target here, my target's about 10 pips on the scalps. Got my other accounts banking on this thing. So you also can have another account that is going to trade the 5-minute chart, say. He's still long. Well, the 5-minute, you're like, oh, I'm just going to hang in there, but you just, you know, this is a hell of a move already. So I'm waiting for a pullback to get back in. So I'm waiting for this to change blue, and here I could have a sell stop, say. My first sell stop, my stop is right at the top of that last bar, and if I wait one more minute, which it seems like forever in Forex, I could put another order in there. Now this is the scalp. This is looking to make I think 8 pips or something. But this gives you a way to not worry about Fibonacci, not worry about, like, you just go, when I see that color, I hit this button. Oh, okay. Now, I know it's really disconcerting to the intellectuals, people that pride themselves on identifying patterns, but I guess this is a pattern, or this is a range. I'm saying 5 pips here, and so now if I was trading super big right now and I saw this thing was up 40 bucks, I'm like, okay, I'll take 40 bucks. Like, who wouldn't take 40 bucks, right? Now, before they even hit my take profit, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm out. Now, this also is the big cure for the feeling of missing out. You got a 1-minute chart. Listen, I wouldn't put up a 1-period moving average on this. You could, but you're going to lose your mind trying to find a top, become a bottom on a 1 minute here, where it's really, this is, you know, you could run that. I'm not saying there's no one way to trade this shit, but I do have a problem with not taking advantage of low risk opportunities. A lot of people don't want to risk 500 bucks on a trade. Now, if you're trading a micro account, you can risk $1. You know, risking $1. Here is a 50-cent window for a scalp, and you still got these that are lasting 30 minutes to 15 minutes here, so these should disappear, and I can't tell if some of them already disappeared. And my stop loss, what's that stop loss? Okay, this is the stop loss from the sell limit in there? I don't know. But I don't know why this is stop loss up there. That's from something else. I guess it's from a sell. But yeah, that's as simple as that. Now, here I'm just getting a touch of blue, and we're going to oh, you know what it is, this broker lets you trade inside the spread, so it's a sell stop here that would never fill, and that is the stop for the sell stop. It's very bizarre. So this broker will take all styles of order unless the spread gets really wide, and when you drop that script you're calling for a stop that's too tight. They will not take that. So see, those just disappeared. So your risk is constantly evaporating. Okay, so now it's buy stop mode, and I'm going to put in the 15-minute and the, so now we got our first buy, so then we're going to wait, and if they don't fill that buy stop, they might fill these 2 buy limits. I'm going to wait another minute. If it come down 5 pips, every minute you come down 5 pips, then maybe every minute you're pulling that 1 minute trigger, and so you can tell all the people all the people that loaned you money to trade with, you tell them, listen, I'm just trading during the trend. I'm a trend trader, damn it. See this left side of here? It's uptrend, so I'm only taking blue signals from this thing every minute. So I'm just going to overtrade this just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to put another buy stop and another buy. So I'm going to put in a 4K now. I just got filled on this. I'm ready to get stopped out. Now, this is going to be the thing. If you want to get into a 5K in 5 minutes, this is a 5K. 5 blues, boom, boom, boom. You keep hitting the buy stop button, and you count you're in a 10K here already. So maybe you do want to get out and take your 10 pips and run. I mean, you're running 3 pip stops here. So I know a lot of these people have like volume on there, and they've got this, this and that, but I just want something I don't want to have to, I know it's in a downtrend, blah, 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 it's bearish, but where do we fucking get in? We have to get in the counter trends of the larger trend, always. How much you want to risk? That's the thing. So now you might give this to somebody, and they can reprogram this whole thing with wider stops and wider take profits. But if you're not aware of the fact that you're only trying to make your targets are based on the time frame you're on, and since I smooth this out, and this would typically be a moving average crossover, but it's not as pretty, and I don't want to look down at the bottom to see overbought and oversold. I never look down. They say never look down. I never look down at RSI, only when I'm looking back on the market, because when I see RSI pummeling down, now there is a thing that if RSI is smashing down below 30, I'm hitting the buy stop key for sure. If there's a retracement, and if there's not, it keeps tanking without me. Now here I haven't filled on, now I'm going to wait. I'm not going to wait. It's blue. I'm going to hit a buy stop key. So I've already put in a bracketed thing where I'm going to get in on stops if we keep going up, but I'm also going to get on these 2 limits that last 15 minutes to half an hour, and I can walk away and say, you know what, I'm not going to sit there and try to micromanage the entry. So as it's coming back here, if I see here that we're in an uptrend, I have every excuse to put a buy stop here and another one. And when this thing really comes down, and then you can just, we should wait a minute. So that's it, minute's gone. And I don't know if I put my shorts in there, but if I put my short in there, it might have evaporated on me. Oh no, I took that one off. See, now I took that one off to just say, oh, what if it wasn't really big here? We get out of something. We still got this uptrend according to color. We broke out, and this is where they just always have to flirt with the edge of this, where everybody's aware of the breakout. Okay, so now I'm going to put in buy stops based on okay, so I should be in at least a 4K because there's 4 minutes of blue. This is already telling you right there. Just put a buy stop in. Don't try to, we don't care. We don't care. We got uptrend here. I mean, you can tell me about the weekly. You can tell me about the Brexit. It wouldn't matter, right? So we just filled on, by default, we just filled on all this K. So this could be a fake out, and they could rip it down and fill all our limits. But we're trend traders, damn it. This is as we're going up, and we got our first signal to go long here, but there was no way to get on that train unless we go to the 1 minute. And the only 1 minute train to get on was, this is before I left the station, second entry, third, and we could keep going up here. But we go there and we rush, we pause, we rush, we pause. And here, this quiet, and then you have your top become a bottom here in color. since you're on this, and every broker's 1 minute chart's going to be different. So there's your top bottom, and then right at the apex, also the triangle is right when the color starts to shift here. So that is the window, and this is always going to be the doji when it goes into the okay, we're looking to make 10 more pips. The nice thing about day trading is you're going to find out real quick if you're running, whether you just stopped in, stopped out, it's over. See you bye. After you get out of this, maybe take all profits, you can close all pending orders. You know, because we could come slamming back at any moment. Or you could just make this a pure stop entry system. So right now, the way it stands here, if somebody wanted this, I'd turn off, the thing is, I would turn off these buy limits. You can turn them on if you want. So the buy limit's sitting there is a psychological situation that you want to get in a range, and there's no market orders. You could set this to a market order. If this is a market order, let me put a market order. There should be a market order inside here. If not, you just go to Google Plus and go to MT4 Script Trading. So what I would do is put a market order in there. It would look like let's see. Anyways, I would just put one in there before I send it to you, market order. But I'd turn it off for the moment and just make it stop entry, because this is confirmation trading on a 1 minute chart though. So this really is set up for 1 minute entries based on the 5 minute trend. Not to say you can't look at the bigger stuff, but hey, if you can make 10 to 20 pips, 30 pips with a 5-10 stop, you know, that's what it's about. But this is for day trading, babysitting. If you wanted to use I'd say if you're trading you know, if you can't babysit the market and be sitting there, then you're going to have a whole different approach where you're buying at the round numbers, and you got to risk 100 50 pips, 100 pips, 200 pips, and you trade the same size. You trade micro a lot, but you're just putting in orders that are just, you know, hey, listen, you're down $20, you know, you know, here you're just your scalping mentality. Put this in 2 forward slashes in here, and then recompile that, turn off the limits. So for right now, I'm going to test these two, and you could just have these as the 15 minutes. There is no, you have to do something, but I think it does matter. Time frame does matter. And here, so I'm long here. I got to let this go, unless I want to put a sell stop in now. This is a whole nother thing. Do you want to lock in a profit by putting a hedge on as soon as you're up? That's all stuff you would have to just decide. But this is an easy place to start, because and even if you don't like, if you can look at this thing for 2 hours, you watch the market for 2 hours, you can scalp it. Now I know in Asia it's quiet, but you're gonna get you're gonna run tighter stops maybe, but you can still see the 1 minute chart give you a signal. If you look back, turn off the scrolling and just look back on this thing, you can't tell me you don't see any trades in here all day long. You couldn't even get in here. This is your only chance to get short in the 5 pip range. Wow, amazing. This is 10 pips down. Come down here. Now if you're running buy stops this whole time, no fill, with a buy limit running in front, maybe a little bit of fill there. Get our first 10-minute rally, and now first time it turns blue within a 5-pip range. Look at this little blue. You got like 2 minutes to nail it here. Here's a great entry. Buy this blue. And this is the 1-minute chart, so you got to believe the 5-minute is in a downtrend here. You're looking for this as your entry right here. You have 4 minutes to get in here. So this is the end of the session here. This is choppy. Now the spread, since you're in a 5-pip range, that's a dead session there. But look at this. Finally you make money here. 5-minute. I don't know what the 5-minute chart looked like at this phase. So the whole time this is going up, you're in on the 1-minute chart looking for blue entry. Okay, let me see if I get any more signals here. They're stopping me out. Okay. So we have, this is uptrend. We're looking for blues to get in. Turn that scroll back. Okay, so here buy stops. So that was a trap. So more blue, and the bar just gapped below the trailing color there. So definitely it's going down. I'm going to buy on pullbacks. My 5-minute chart just went blue on another. Now how tight do you set these clouds? You know, people tweak these clouds out and they're like, well, I want a bigger cloud. Well, yeah, you're looking to get a different wave, but I think it matters the volatility of that thing. So yeah, it's uptrend, and so they trapped me on this one, and this could have been my sell here, but you got to be looking at your target me to be like, I'm looking to make 3 pips. Target's really critical. So I'm just about to get stopped out. I'm long on I don't know, like 10K all of a sudden here. And your sell, if you're selling up counter trend trading into that, you can see that they're not big profits. So we got a top bottom right now. We're right back against this, and we're waiting to for this to go up, and then we can't touch it. If this turns into this color, we don't buy anymore. We only buy in blue. So wait another minute, and we could still come slamming back on this one. So if you had your 1 hour buy limits that are setting down here, maybe you have a 5-pip grid of buy limits that last 15 minutes, because you know the market's capable of being in an uptrend and then smashing down for 20 pips and coming back up. You know that's possible too. But this is just for people that want to trade from without getting, that's, I think it's complicated. Okay, buy stop. 1 more minute of blue, and I like it, so I'm going to put in the kitchen sink here. I'm going to put in a 10. I'm putting 8K in. I just want to cross every key on top. And this almost turned. Now you can make this more sensitive, and then if you take the same template here, you change some of the layering and bring it over here, and so the same template, 2 different time frames, the 1 against the 5, you're trading in the direction of the trend for a scalper. Okay, buy stops, and then okay, well, that's how it goes. You know, for I guess it's about, is the blue area and the green area within a certain pip range to fit your what you wrote for your risk, and how often are you going to pull the trigger? What's your criteria for pulling the trigger? Maybe you want to make it so that you're running a 2-pip grid and you're waiting for a 2-pip blue, and this is where you're going to pull the trigger. It's here, and then so every minute you put a buy stop in and a buy limit. 15-minute buy stop stacking up here, and since this is less than 15 bars, you're getting filled. Okay, another buy stop. So it's bottom of the hour's coming, and we could have a whole change of scenery. So yeah, it's bearish, it's blue, but do we really want to be? Do we really care about the 4-hour chart? The 1-hour chart was the last place to sell here. Was here. So if you're looking for this color, maybe you're in the 1-hour chart and you're looking for, there's not a place to get in this thing. You'd have to go to the half-hour chart. Here's your sell, maybe any black wick above here, and this is where your sell limits. If you're going to use this as your trend, it's blue. Sell limits are obviously the best place to get in here. But here, you supposedly can't trade from the long side when this color changes. So you're already turned up here on this color, so that trade is off the list. $15-minute trend is up, according to smoothed out candles. So the 5-minute, so you just have to wait. These guys fill now. Another blue bar, I have to hit the buy key again. And these are just scalps. These aren't going to make a bunch of money. But I did throw the kitchen sink in. I have a 10K loaded on that last blue bar. Potential for disaster there. But yeah, at least you know what to do every minute. That's the idea here. To do every minute. Okay, we'll wait till 5 minutes go by. I'll see what this is in 5 minutes. I ain't got time for this monthly, weekly, 4-hour stuff. Just blow your brains out looking at that 4-hour chart. Like, I couldn't wait a week for this to drop 200 pips. I need to get my money. I need to get out. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know your address. Associate path trading on the 1-minute chart. Another blue 1 minute. Putting in 4K there. If we're filled, pick up a 4K. Okay, let's see where we're at here in the next. Okay, now it's going to be a monster fill. We're taking on some margin now. Five-minute trend and 1 minute signal or 1 minute trigger. And the sell stops, which I don't have any, could be stacking up now, but that would make it a hedge because I'm already long, and let them just crush me out of this possibly. So if I'm going to turn off the limits now on these two orders, and go back to just stop only. This way you'll always know there's no guesswork. You know exactly what you should be doing, what kind of order, what direction the order flow is going, and how you want to really get in on a confirmation entry. So you hear that all the time, confirmation entry. Of course, my confirmation is so close here that I don't even know if I'd call this confirmation. It's really trading at the market. Okay, another minute passed by. Another buy stop, 2K. 2K only. I took off the limit. So I do have a big giant grid of limits sitting down here, maybe spaced 25 pips apart for like some kind of bizarre slam down. But in the meantime, so here's buy limits, like I don't even know. Stuff I had programmed in here earlier I stripped out because people are going to get confused. That this A0 means control 0, alt 0, and C0 means control 0. So we can't really, I would say once you start getting filled on this, then you can't touch it. You have to let it play out. A 4-hour chart, it's pretty stunning. The 5-minute and the 4-hour are totally in opposite trends. So just a little touch of blue right on the top of that. Okay, well this will be a big deal. Yeah, bottom of the hour is a big deal. So we're either going to follow through here or they're going to smash this down. So this exposure right now I have from these limits. See what happens there. Now if you think you're in too heavy now, maybe you don't want, even though it's blue, you can't afford to buy anymore. It's ran out of money, you know. It's ran out of money. And some of these buy stops haven't filled yet. You could place your buy stops to buy 2 pips above also. There's no telling how you can adjust something. But it's still, you're still going to at least be a disciplined trader. And if you only have all your keys set to 15 minutes, you could set every key to 15 minutes. So you're like, hey, every 15 minutes, I'm gonna look at the 5-minute chart. So there's, you're looking for 3, maybe 2 blue bars here means that you have a buy on this time frame. Here would have been your sell. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 20-minute sell. Beautiful. Sell stops. Even buy stops on blue, sell stops on green. Your counter trend trading that on this. I mean, you're really trading the 5-minute chart. Maybe you're looking at, with the 5-minute, you have the 30-minute. Okay, so I'm going to put another one in, another buy stop. So I'm getting it at different prices all along the way here too. Okay, we're waiting for this waiting for the market to smash down. Now the buy stop's already up there. Okay, they're coming after the limits now. So I put up quite a bit. I think I have a 20K of limits sitting down here. So as this walks down, since I turned off the, I'll put a 2K in there, just put a 30-minute and a 15-minute buy stop. You're not going to get any fills unless the market starts to go your way. So the sell stops here, we wouldn't run a sell stop on this because you don't have a, it's not like a big blue down. So when it's blue down, it's down, comes up, you're looking for the small range. And even if you put them in here, you're not getting any fills. If you would have sold these two. So we got a wedge, and so I'm not going to add any more now. They just filled me on like 20k. And this is the 15-minute, and the 1 hour buy stops are sitting on this ball. You can't see, but inside there is a 10k waiting to get filled for an hour. Well, we're in an uptrend. Just looking to make those 15 pips. It's only got to come up to this 15 horizontal lines above this. So here we go. Up. So the having this 3 pips above, I wouldn't be getting filled. 1 pip is like at the market, but it's a better price. Can't wait for a pullback. So the limits that are down there, so if I know I'm already in big, I'm going to walk away and let these buy limits possibly fill. I can go out and you know, get another beer. So I get a first touch of blue here on the 5 here, and then we could come back into this. We could still come back to the apex of that triangle, which is only 10 more pips down. But I just want to build this position of entry on this 1 minute. I could have just hit the button but I put this 10k in here, or I could hit the button on stops. I'd be committed to getting into a 10k here if it breaks out. And if my target is to make 8 pips and I'm risking 3, then that's it. That's that one key set like that. And every time you hit that key, you know what to expect. So the first was 5-minute bar is still forming, so it's kind of just turning. It's slightly blue right now. Now wait, let's come back here in 3 minutes, see what it looks like. If this is full blue, then maybe I put a buy stop in, but if I'm already in so heavy here, I'm not going to add. I'm just going to use that as confirmation to say, okay, it was a good place. They're just going to about to crush everybody here. So your counter trend trades here maybe made their pips. There's just like a little bit lower, just 1 pip lower, but maybe your sells made money. You made 5 pips off of this sell here. Okay, major pull back here. So here's a blue. You wait 2 more minutes and we'll put in some okay, there's a 6k. I just got a blue bar here, but I'm not going to add because we just finished with a blue top on that, and I'm just going to hold. I had a blue one back there. Because now I'm already getting filled. So they just picked up that 4K. So we could be in about, if this thing goes smashing up, you'll be in about maybe 60K. If this is, maybe you're going to set this all to 15 minutes, so each one of these, after about 15 bars down here, some of these buy stops are going to start to evaporate. You can see the stops about to get filled if you switch this to price. So this should say 15 minutes. I think the 15-minute ones are gone. The 1 hours are sitting behind, so all the 15s are gone. Even though the balls won't delete those balls. The order will go away. But this is like a history of your order placement. None of these blue take profits or red stop outs are going to go away either. Those are just objects on the screen now, left behind. Okay, just a 15-minute chart is still green. But this is really a 5 and a 1 minute. Just for scalping, really. Alright, we're picking up some exposure now. We just picked up another 5K here. At least, I guess, $72 a margin. This has to go up or we're going to get killed. Has to. But we could be, before even the jobs report comes out, so we're done for the day. We don't care about anything else. And if you don't have the right stops and take profits for when the wheels come off the market, then there's nothing you can do. You would just have to have an account for that. This is just a scalping. The way this is set up is for scalping. You could certainly widen the stops on here and turn it into a swing trading system, where you're running with a 100 pip stop, and every time you see a certain color, you just hit a button. You're building a position over the period of 8 hours over 3 days, and you're like, yeah, I know, I'm just gonna keep buying it. Yeah, especially that supposedly, well, that 4 hour chart says, just keep looking for sells on the 15-minute. Just keep looking for sells on the 1 hour. So I can't put any more orders in because I should be putting sell stops in now. So according to that rule set, if you're going to counter trying to enter that, but now we just have to hold and consider that for the 1 minute traders, we're going to ride this trend. And if we could take out the high of the day, which is only 10 pips away, then we're done. We're out. I'm still underwater, but I'm slightly about to take profits. Now, this may not seem like a lot of money. This is only 1K. But the idea is that you're getting out, and you're maybe only in a 10K on the last move of this. And when I hit the button, I put that big 10K in, the targets are like way up here. So these are like swing trader exits way up on top. The perfect way to do it is you've got, say, your targets here, and you've assessed the ATR to profits, and you're expecting, well, if we're swinging around 100 pips and 200 pips, our targets need to be 100, 200 pips, and our stops maybe need to be 50 pips, and to maximize that whole move. So top of the hour is coming. We could be up 10 pips. So I'm 77 margin. And wait for the top of the hour here. I'm going to go get another beer. So we just got this little kickback on the 1 minute chart where they stomped this down on the ground. That's why I was running that buy limit entry trailing for that situation. So I wanted to get on the stop, but I also wanted that kickback order. Now we're in some heavy position, almost in like a 30-40K here, and taking profits hopefully pretty soon. As we come up, pop out the top of the day there, then it's a wonderful trade. I'm also have those lingering orders, so we filled on that 10K because this is way less than an hour right here. Here is if you're pulling the trigger on these two bars, that's a 10-minute window entry. Now we're looking for a stop and take out the high of the day here, and then it's going to be over. Take the money and run. If we go shearing north for about 30-40 pips now, then it's going to take out those really outrageous exits. But the high probability is that we clip the trees here, clip this wick. 15-minute traders are still bullish. They're still there, and they're looking to clip this wick. So see this one here. There's this one. That'll be the. They look at to breakout traders will come in here. They'll run it up maybe to here. Ideally, it just keeps on taking out like a zipper. 4 hours of basically a whole week of sell-off. We could give that all back here today. We could go up 50 pips today and give back everything from all that downtrend trading. And so I'm just looking to make this window. I get in here with a 5 pip stop to make this 15 pips. It's all over. Okay, we're just a few pips from the if we go back to the 5, this and then to here, and then now if you think it's going to rip back right now, you could get out everything you're in, and there would be no shame in taking, whatever there is. There's no shame in my game. But that's right, this is resistance. Now if I wait for 3 more pips here to see how it behaves at that breakout point. So I got my finger on the close all profits button right now. So I'd like to sit, if it's a really big position, I sit with my finger for security purposes on the close all profits, or close, and then after that, if I think the market's going to come unwrapped, I'll put a close all open and pendings. Close all open, even if you're in a winning, even if you're losing a trade. So you can have panic buttons that you hit, say close all, open and pendings here. I just try to streamline this platform. Here's a doji thing. I'm not running these right now. It's a stop entry breakout. Okay, got top of the hour. See, I was up $18 there, so I could have got out right there. I'm going to wait 1 more minute. I'm not going to move my stops to break even. If we just pop up a few more pips here, the breakout orders should come in here to fuel this move. Maybe get a little follow through off of that. The bears stops will get triggered, which will also turn into buy orders, and that will fuel some more follow through here. And this was your, if you were quick on the quick straw McGraw, there was a blue inside of this, which is a great pullback order to place to hit the trigger. And you know, if it's scalper's world. Blue. A little bit of blue showing up. All right, top of the hour. And there's no news at the top of the hour, but we're getting so close to here. A lot of bears can see it coming. They're going to bail and buy back. Short squeeze. Got 4 more minutes. 1 minute to the top of the hour, and they're trouncing down on this, the high of the day. All they have to do is pop this up 7 pips, we're out. And then it's just time to take a nap. Now you could be in for $1 million here. You could be in for $5. I got 20 seconds left. Hopefully it pops and runs. The perfect scenario. Smash and run. 5 seconds. 1 second. They're right at the high. Now if they can start triggering the buy stop guys and the basically people that are going to trade on confirmation, they're going to get in here. And the people that are have money management things that are running stops, trailing stops, they're getting stopped out. Or we're just going to rip back. They just clip the trees there by 1 pip and rip back. I think I got out of something here. Barely got out of something. Now if we wait 5 more minutes for the follow through, and if your targets are now we're going after the stops up here, another 5 pips to take out the high of the day. That's the high of the intraday. And now we're waiting for a little bit more squeeze here. Major 200 pip drop all week long. Really not even hardly an up candle on the 4 hour. So I was running a stop entry system there. So 1 minute chart is still bullish, and we just made 1 pip, half pip higher there, and I just got out of something else. So my exposure's fading as we go higher, and in a perfect world that thing cleans out just right at the very top, and then we put in sell stops and we counter trend, trade it back to the middle of the road. So if we could take this out, that'd be wonderful. Go pop up there. That's it. Now pulling the trigger on all these entries, you had to be there for that, and having the market decide your position size for you also. So that's about 20 bars down. There's a 20K. Now you could wait for only the 5 minute, and you'd be in say a 3K here. 3 blue bars, and then like this cute little one here. That's but here's the kickback. So maybe you're running a buy stop here with a limit behind, as long as the size matches. Looks like they've trapped these guys. They could pull it back now. I'll give it 2 more minutes. Yeah, 2 more minutes for that to go up. Okay, now it's just 2 minutes. So I get some follow through here, and if they just come and try to get to the high of the day, that's fine. Before they get to the high of the day, I'll be out. A lot of people selling up into this downtrend. Sell rallies in a downtrend. Okay, 5 minutes has gone by, and we're still in an uptrend on the 1 minute. We're looking to clip this by a pip and just cash out of all this stuff as we clear up into this 5 pip window. And my take profits here, they're just randomly, I mean, they were just, I didn't ever put the target there because it was a high day. It was just built into the exits on these stops. Okay, so we're out of our margin's going down and the money's going up, and we get to zero margin would be beautiful, but there'll be some stragglers in here. I guess I could hold through for the next half hour, but we just want to crush up into that window and get out of most of this thing. And the rest are swing trades, I guess, and we would we move stuff to break even, I suppose, but hell, I just get out. I mean, I would leave the original stops in there because we have less chance of getting stopped out. Now you might want to just get out of everything if you just made your target for the day. So I just opened this account. I'm at $200, so I took my best was I was up 160, and then I was down about 100. I was at about 60. I was only up 112. Then I broke out this this smooth candle, and I said, look at this 1 minute chart. Like, I need a reason to get in on stop entries. And I don't normally trade stops, but I know it's easier because if this should keep going down, then we would have never got filled. We have a buy stop 2 pips away, but we also would have lost out on profits because we get a worse price. So I don't know if we'll be able to make it to the top there, but I got out of about 20% of my original position on that. And my stops are still, so you may see a drawdown. Like right now, if they came back and trounced me and stopped me out, I don't know if I'd be up on the day. I really didn't do the math, honestly, and I just wouldn't, you know, if you did that math in the beginning, you knew that was the risk going in for the day anyways. I wouldn't try to micromanage it, I suppose. Nice strong trend on the 1 minute chart, though. I'm just looking at this 5 pip window. It's my exit. Just about, I mean, I'm like 3 pips from getting out of like about 20K. So I could be placing buy limits here to buy a 5 pip plunge, a 15 pip plunge, a 20 pip plunge. So after they do, maybe clip this, maybe they do pull it back. Okay, here we go. So getting out. And this should be pretty quick and dirty. Then maybe sell stops. Maybe we'll pull back. So there, I got out about another 15K. Now I could let that go. Stops are way down here. The 5 minute chart is, so you would have made 10 pips here on the 5 with a 5 pip stop on that trade. So you can pretty much, if you're in the back testing, you just look for your entries here. Here you would have made 10 pips selling these. Here you would have made 15, 20 pips selling that. Oh, he's going to get in on the first blue after an up, and then the looks like sellers are going to come in now. So I'll definitely see my profits go away, but if I was in 90K, I was in 90 margin, now I'm in 50, I'm like out of half of my position, so maybe I buy in limits now. Or wait for this to turn blue and add. That's the other option. Anyways, as the thing stands right now, the system and this profile, it's really for the euro only. If your broker's got a tighter spread, maybe you're going to tighten this thing up. Okay, here's a possible, we just waiting for this bar to complete. We just started this. We got a buy signal, blue. We have to wait for that to complete, and then we put a buy stop in. So we can add to our, I guess they call that pyramiding the account. Add to it. So if you really are bullish or bearish, you would put in the limits. I'm going to wait for this to come down and put a buy stop in. So I'm already in. It would just be a matter of adding at this point. But see how they trapped these guys up here? Never made it to the high of the day. Scalp window there. Okay, so I have my first completed 1 minute. I'm going to put in a buy stop and another one. So put a 3K in there. And we'll just do the whole same thing again. And it, like if this thing came smashing down, I don't even know. If you don't like the way it looks, you can just get out of every winner right now. And let this 3K get picked up. I don't think you should let your profits run. I mean, I just think you should just be like, hey, this is it, I'm out. You can always get back in, especially on a 1 minute chart. So if we get another scenario here, we get come down all the way back to here. It's 5 pips. Only got to drop 5 pips for me to put another buy stop in there. So I could have dumped the whole thing up here and just call it a day. Or I just babysit this and just say, well, I'm just going to add to that. Put a buy stop in. Oh, I put a sell stop accidentally. Of course, and trading super small also lets you make a mistake. Okay. So buy stop for the scalps. So in the rearview mirror, you can have your 4-hour chart and all that, but okay. So I just got picked up on a couple about 5K here, and now maybe we can go trouncing down this. So instead of closing all profits, I already have my profits set really tight, so I already got out of something. And I scaled out of something, and now I'm just going to re-add to the same trend. Now we picked up some fuel. We could pop through the high now. Take a look at this, the high of the day. And then if we share that out, look at the high of the day before. It's gonna be a short squeeze, mind-blowing short squeeze here. Okay, this got to go up. Take out that. So you got to get 110.35. Be cashing out. But see, this could also be a trap. Like this is it, right? This is like the last, like this at some point you're not going to be able to just keep pulling the trigger on a blue, because this thing's going to get all choppy and wacky, and it's going to be nothing there. It's not going to be a good trade anymore. But this time of day, these are the early birds buying this thing. 4-hour chart is still deep blue. And the first hint of this changing color, then you're going to really look for sellers to come in. So here's a failure to take out, to follow through here. So now you can't put any more buy stops in because you got this just turned into an uptrend color. So you can't pull the buy trigger anymore. At least keep you from chasing the trend. 15-minute trend still up. 5-minute turned up back here. So if you're still holding from this entry and you're going to let your profits run, or just get out of the whole thing right now. So they trapped me on that 1 minute. So at some point we're going to lose momentum, and then you can get trapped on this 1 minute chart. So maybe you do put sell stops in now for a little insurance, a little protection. Maybe not the equal amount of buys you have right now, but you would just, hey, you know, let's put a couple sell stops in. This looks kind of sketchy. But you never go broke taking profits, although they say that. They say, well, you go broke taking profits because, yeah, if your ratios are break even, then you really have to, you know, because if you're totally flat the market and you are taking profits, maybe you had some outlandish profits, but you just took whatever was there, you're still making money. So if I got out of everything I'm in right now, I'd still be stuck in these the top here. So wait for some more blue bars to go long. That was pretty big trap there for these 5-minute guys right up here. Okay, if we get a lower low here in blue, I'm just gonna put I'm gonna put a 3K in here. So I'm just gonna go with the blue entries. Okay, so I added on pullbacks here. I got, for the 5-minute entry, I got one pullback in blue, and here I just kept hitting the buy stop entry. I could have taken my profits, but if I would have moved if I either would have got out everything, I'd have to get back in and repay the spread, or had I moved my stops to break even, I'd be out of all these trades here. So I left my stops where they originally were. And now we're just looking to finally, now they trapped these 5-minute guys on that wick. They pulled them back to here, to the breakout point, to this breakout, and right there in that 5-pip pullback. So now finally, after all this time, we're looking to clear this window from the original stuff that I bought back here. So these guys, which were the breakout entries there, I'm waiting to finally cash out of that. Now all we have to do is go up about 4 pips here, and I will be out of most of the stuff, and the stuff that I just put on I think I'll be out of, because I hit the scalp button. The very first keys are the 15-minute and 30 minutes. Those are my scalps, and it should be out. So you got 1 minute, you got 10 seconds till the 15-minute traders are still in an uptrend. They still think it's bullish, or the market's bullish. And here once again, we're trying to test this range. We had to pick up enough fuel to get there though, so we had to come back and get all this pullback going to get ourselves some energy to go up. I guess so. There I'm up. Okay, now we could just go up severely sharp, very hard. I'm out of half of the position, so it's in like 100. And now if we can just take out the high of the day, which we just took out that shelf there. Now we're coming up in the high of the day, and we just clip out of that and maybe let the rest go. Let's see. So I'm out of like 60% of the position that I just got in, and we're gonna wait till the top of the hour. Probably won't have to wait that long, and this thing would just go popping through. We're about 2 pips from the high of the day. Definitely cleaning out. Gonna go hunt down those bear stops now. Just couldn't get there. So right now, I mean, if you're a scalper, maybe you just dump. I'm up about $230 and we just get out. I'll give this thing one more minute. And here there's no trade. You can't hit the buy stop key here. You'd be taking on too much risk, a big chance to get trapped up here. I like to be out as they're trapping people. I want to be getting out. Got some take profits way up here. Alright, we just gotta wait, I'd say 1 more minute. Just inching towards my exits there. So if I do it by take profit, these are my lowest. I've got to go up like 1 pip now to clear off this exposure. Cash out. Okay, well, half a pip away. Right at the borderline here. Okay. Just can't get there. Backing away. So sellers do come out up here, but typically you get the trap and then they pull it back. So I want to get out on the trap. Here's a 5 pip trap down here. Then they rip it up. Okay, the tick chart looks like. And if you want your tick chart to be huge, you got to turn off all the other symbols on your platform. This way you can see your tick chart fill in. So you just come up here and only trade one currency pair, hide all. I can't, this is what I'm running the, there must be accidentally a trade placed here. This is running the robot, the publishing thing. Okay, we're clearing the trees here. Oh, just try getting this back in there, so don't really want to. Have to get rid of my tick chart now. Okay. So here's the trap. We cashed out of most of the stuff. We're just left a couple little orders here. At this point, you could wait it out to clip that, or you just say, you know what, forget it, see you later, bye. And that's it, you're done. $240. Okay, that's my, anybody wants this platform, I can zip it up the way it stands now. You can always adjust it. You can always, I'll send you the, what would happen is I would send you this. You've got to go to the open data folder. And when you come in here, it's just pretty crazy now. It just blows my mind. I don't really like what they did to Windows, because at this point, This is the fucking this is what they call a directory. What the hell is that? You can't even see it. It just says terminal. You can't even find this. If you come in the back door in the Windows direct, you can't find this. So I'd send you this MQL4 profiles, templates. The config has the I'd send you the config, which has the hotkeys in there. If you want to see what the hotkeys look like, if you look in here, I'm pretty sure it's in here. No, it's not. So I wouldn't send you this config. I send you the it's inside of here. It's under hotkeys is under the presets. No. Now that's to log into something. So let's see here. I definitely have to send you this MQL4 and the profiles. I think it's in here maybe. Yeah, this is considered part of the profile, the hotkeys. So you look at this list. This is the oh yeah, I guess these hotkeys I've got to get rid of those because it's I stripped out the stuff it's talking to. But basically, this is your buy stops. All the numbered ones are stops, and this is buy stops. This is sell stops. So I made Alt is sell and Control is buy. So I'll see the profiles, MQL4, and templates. So these three you need to put into a demo. All these scripts are set to 1K, and the inside here is the scripts. So all that stuff's in here in the presets. These presets are for something else. This is for the that's for the robots that are running in there. I mean, not robots, but this publishing thing, whatever the fuck that is, this expert advisor thing. And I don't know what this stuff is. But that's what you would need. And then when you install it, you're going to have to go into Tools, go to Options, go to Expert Advisors, and allow automated trading. And I always set this to go to trade, one-click trading, and I always set the charts to 5,000 by 5,000. And if you want to move orders on the screen, put this use Alt to drag trade levels. Otherwise, if you start dragging stuff around the screen, you're going to grab your orders. And the objects I put to 0 pixels, so when I move an object on the screen, it's set to 10 actually or something. It's super precise. That's about it. And then the thing is that once so if you're done trading for the day and you have orders sitting out here, there's a script in here called close all open and pendings. It's going to clear off everything in here. So that's it. Now you have no exposure, you got money, and you're waiting for a signal. Now here I wouldn't so they trapped these guys on the daily. That was my exit to get in on that trap, get out on that trap, and that's it. I don't have any other it's like that's all I got. Now we just wait for a pullback, I suppose, to buy if we're going to buy, and maybe you're selling up here. But some of these trends, like this perfect world, comes to an end at some point. Besides, And there's news coming out. It's going to get all rambunctious. I'm expecting pullbacks and what have you now. But that's one way to approach it, and it's a starting point. If you somebody emailed me about a trading system, so I could just send you these 3 folders here and load it in your system. Turn on your expert advisors. Basically, I've sent you this MQL4 profiles templates. That's it. Then you put it in your, you drag and put that in your data folder, or open a demo and load it in there. And the current profile here is set to Scalper. I should be able to load this. This should load Scalp. Well, if I go to Swiss franc, and this profile actually saves the currency pair and everything. So go to profiles and put in the Scalp one, and this is actually showing all these objects in here, which is kind of funny because it actually saves all that history. So there's the Scalp, and there's the 5-pip grid. If that grid drops out, you've got to like refresh the time frame. But it looks like, yeah. Of course, you can set the whole platform to a different stop entry where you're only going to trade on this 4-hour chart, and you're probably only going to look for color shift on the 1-hour chart. So you see this, your only chance to sell into that 4-hour thing. So save template, I mean profile, save profile. Gee, it doesn't let you save it. You have to keep saving as. Weird. So I'll write that. How bizarre. Profile. I just save templates. But once you have this loaded, you can save this template and name it whatever you want. You can strip out some of these colors, but it just seems like an easier way to make a decision on a trade than worrying about Fibonacci and all these wackadoodle things that people come up with. You know, you can say you're only going to trade the 5-minute chart. You know this is a downtrend, but look at this. This is plenty of pips. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to throw this in a zip folder. Anybody wants it, I'm going to put all 3 files in a zip folder, and you just have to come up here and turn on, go to your options, turn on expert allow automatic trading, one-click trading, and that's about it for that. And I would turn this. This is not the default. I turn that on. You don't need a million bars if you're scalping, so you can even make this down to 5,000 is plenty. It makes it faster, especially when you put if you layer up a lot of this Hakanashi smoothed out, and you've got a slow computer. It'll actually take a long time to crunch all the math on that to give you that wave look to it, and like that's it. It's that simple. It'd be up to you to pick the time frame and whatever rule system. But if you keep it to stops only, then you'll have confirmation fills, and if you put it limits and all that nonsense, you know that's gonna matter. That may overcomplicate it, right? Because about keeping it simple. A 1-minute chart. Here's your buy stops. If you're still bullish, you would have put buy stops in here, and they've already taken out the high of the day. So if this is a breakout and we're going to follow through, and you want to get in something, there's also you can see that if you're only going to trade one case here, what are you going to risk? You know, it's sound like Donald Trump, but what do you got to lose? A buck, right? You lose a buck on 1K, and you figure out real quick how you want to play this based on your tolerance for pain of trend, because this here obviously is down, wonderful downtrend, but did you have a chance to get on this without getting stopped out? And would you have gotten on this train like here on this pullback in the 4-hour? Yeah, it was a great entry here, right? But if you look back, yikes, if you look back here, this is a great entry, but there's a lot of brutality here. This is a 20 pips of smash and grab, and we can't even imagine what that looks like on the other time frame. So there it is in a nutshell.